Smashing, thanks.
Oh yeah.
Apart from Angus, I've got. Did I send it to Angus? I don't know.
He was in the
Okay.
room when you sent it in the room, mate.
Oh, so he hasn't got it. Shit admin from him.
Exactly.
Barrett, would you shoot
some
the
radio
PR
check.
coordinate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that 16?
Cheers.
Yes.
Ah, good.
What was it? 16 what?
1.
16-1.
Who's folded?
Look at this.
Bad check.
Yeah, he's in there. He's been
Ah.
flying around the fastest.
Yeah, of course.
What I particularly want to go through is start off with Freemed telling us what they do in the field, and then you lot telling Freemed what you do in the helicopters. Literally talk through the chain of evacuation and what's happening, usually on the ground, and then we will talk about how we can speed that up and then put them ideas into practice. Is everyone happy with that?
Okay.
for me.
Everyone is encouraged to throw their 2 pence in at any given point, because someone might come up with the stupidest idea, but it might increase the time by 5 minutes. You never know what anyone's going to come out with. We'll give it a few more minutes. Wait for Angus to come back and Baker, and we will crack on. The crew, I've just bought one crew for tonight, otherwise it'd just be overcrowded as fuck. So I don't know how you boys want to do it, whether you want to split down in 2 teams of 3, or Barrett stays with me and everyone else goes out and does stuff.
I'm happy with the second option, to be honest. I just want everyone to get it, so because it can be like and whoever goes with who knows everything they need to know. So my brain's a little fuzzled from talking about for 20 minutes straight for phase 1.
That's all right. Well, we'll just wait until Angus gets in and then we'll crack on. Do what you want in the meantime.
30 seconds.
Are you still watching that stream?
I'm sure everyone here is a happy bunny enjoying life.
Negative.
Of the world.
No, I've got gammon in the oven cooking. Fucking cooked yet.
Gammon.
How long's it been in for?
Not long enough.
Brian,
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
veggie.
Brian, I'm gonna fucking shoot you if you say to message me one more time.
Sam?
No, Ryan.
Who the fuck is Ryan?
Yeah, no, what's he saying?
I just said Niles. He's in 1-4 when I joined.
One free, I've got a training area up and they're not even on.
I've
think
already
that was
done it.
already
when I
on.
This comes down to
Pierce
people not clearing up after themselves.
I'll come and get rid of it. I've marked up the med hut on the map. It's over there by the control tower. I don't actually know the building works, but I've got Zeus, so alright.
Alex on tonight, Hudson?
I don't know.
Fair dues.
Angus is typing. Literally loading in now. Nice.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Sorry, shit admin. Sorry.
He's still fucking running around.
Odds on he misses the Arsenal geezer.
He comes back.
Highly
Where's the
likely.
Arsenal?
There he is.
Oh.
Bloody hellfire. Hello.
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 So, yeah,
Hello.
What we're going to do for the night, Angus, is Free Med are going to tell the Chinook boys what they do in the field medical wise. And then the RF guys are going to tell Free Med what they do medical wise. Then we're going to talk through the chain of evacuation where you come in and you put your 2 pence in. Everyone puts their 2 pence in, and we work out how the fuck to make it quicker on the ground. And then we go with that, and we stick with that, and we make sure when everyone leaves here today, they can send at least a mist on the radio. For tier 1s, because I don't necessarily think we need to do mist stats for tier 2s.
No.
Agree with that, Barrett?
Yeah,
Just tier 1s, yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Sweet. And our medics can triage that and organise who's going to get the first D into with the pink gloves, so to speak. So yeah, Barrett or Mark, I don't know, you two are seers, I'm guessing it's Mark nowadays. If you just want to go through what you do on when Mr. Angus or Dale tells Angus that he's got 85 tier 1s, what do you then do? What happens?
Mark, feel free to chime in if I start talking absolute dog shit. Pretty much what happens is we get the call for there being casualties. We normally move closer to them and then set up a CCP, which is where we try and get all the casualties together. Then it's normally up to the sections to bring their casualties back. But if they cannot, we would move closer up and try and assist them. But 9 times out of 10, they will bring casualty to the CCP, where we treat them there. And then depending on how many casualties there are, the tiers, anything really, we try and make them as stable as possible before we move them. So if we have 5 tier 1s that aren't stable, we're not going to call in transport to try and get them out, because we don't want them dying in transit. So if we get casualties that need to be evac'd and are stable, at that point we would bring in the transport, which is the medic that will be attached to Koi. And they will come in with normally Milsim or someone,
or Husky.
yeah, Husky. And they'll pick up the casualties and take them to the HLS, which is where someone like Alex would call you fellas in, and then pretty much hand off the casualties there. It's kind of about time frames. It's incredibly situational. So it depends how many casualties you have, how quickly we get it stable, how far away the transport is, HLS, all that kind of stuff. So normally if we're taking quite a while, it's because we've hit a snag in the road or something has got in our cogs and messed us up somewhere.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty much, and then hand them off and then rinse and repeat.
Cool. And then Angus, where do the platoon sergeants come in this?
What the chain of events on our side that links in with Barrett's is I'll have a medic attached to us at platoon HQ level. We will be patrolling around and doing whatever we do. We'll get a section that takes contact. They'll call up a contact report to let us in platoon HQ know that they have received contact. Shortly following that, we'll be issued with a sit rep. And included in that sit rep will be a brief CAS state of the section. So if they've taken any casualties, then they'll let us know in that sit rep. Between the point of taking contact and platoon HQ receiving a sit rep, usually about 1 to 2 minutes elapses. So it's pretty quick. So if in that sit rep we receive a CAS state and it's 1 tier 1 and a tier 2, then I feed that to the platoon's medic. So the platoon's 3 med person. So for example, if it's Blizzard, I'll say Blizzard. We've got a tier 1 and a tier 2 out in the field, and that's just to keep him in the loop. When the section has successfully won their firefight, they'll then send a salter over, which is a full contact report, and that details everything about the contact that they've had, as well as a very, very detailed CAS state of the section. So whether they're tier 1, whether they're tier 2, tier 3, or fetus deletus. So once we get that full CAS state during their full contact report, I then feed that to Blizzard. Blizzard would set up a CCP. Usually we've already got a CCP set up. As soon as there's contact taken, CCP is established. And if you reference your C tabs, you'll see just to our west there's a C tab marker 0939, the green circle. That's a CCP marker. And these move quite often. So the minute the contact's taken, we usually look for a place to plop a CCP down. We'll then get the full cas state from the section. We'll usually keep a section in reserve, and they'll go and collect the casualties from the section that has taken the casualties and bring them back to the CCP. If the situation permits, then I will assemble the platoon HQ section and march them up to the front, pick the casualties up or treat them on scene. But that is situationally dependent. If there is no contact and we've got the platoon that have secured the area, then we'll move the medic to the casualties rather than the casualties to the medic. But if there's an ongoing contact,
enemy bunker.
yeah, if there's an ongoing contact, then we'll utilize the reserve section and pull the casualties back, or the remaining members of that section that has the casualties.
Cool. Right. Yeah, fellows or Niles, do you want to go over what we do? Either one of you, you're both.
You can do it, fellas.
Yeah, go on then. So, when Alex or Air Command give us the scramble call, it's a leg it to the helicopter, get it started, fly over to you. We're in our MERT mode at that point. Land, pick up the casualty, and then maintain the casualty on the way back. Bring him back into the tent, fix him up, get him in the next bed, out back into the fight essentially, and then we drop him off at the HLS that we picked him up at normally, and off we go running back into bullets.
Okay. Where myself, Alex, and a JTAX come in this chain is obviously myself and Alex are stationed with Milsim, Vils, or Tucker, and also Barrett or Mark, whoever's with us for the night. We don't listen to their radios, but we listen to what they're saying on the radios. Mr. Godfrey as well. I forgot Godfrey's Uncoy stuff. We listen to what they're saying on the radios, and then we can preempt mass cases or tier 1s, tier 2s, and also asking for regular sit reps from the Koi medic. We do not ask the bird to spool, and we do not scramble the crew until we have a confirmed case of a tier 1 or a tier 2 or a tier 1 that's going to wake up tier 2. We do have different procedures for a tier 1 and a tier 2. A tier 2, we probably won't scramble the bird. We'll just tell the Chinook crew to come in. Obviously, they won't do it at their own pace. They won't waddle. I'm pretty sure fellows will tell you they'll act in the same way as they were scrambled. But on a tier 1, they are scrambled. So they literally sprint to the Chinook, drop everything they're doing, and just go and lift. Yeah, that's where we're coming. So, as a collective, where do we think it's going low? Where do we think we can improve? Whether that is with free med, whether that's with the RAF guys, whether that's with the platoon HQs, where do people think we can improve?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go on.
Barrett, you mentioned that you don't move them in transport until they're relatively stable because you're worried that they will die during transport. Why do you not treat them while in transport? Is there something preventing that?
It's kind of a mixed thing. It's sometimes the Koi medic has to do radios and talk to, say, like Hudson or Alex and that, just to give them updates. And trying to treat someone as well can be a bit difficult. Also,
you can't use the radio while the medical menu's open.
You can.
Yes, you can.
You can't?
Yeah,
What?
you can.
Yes, you can.
No, I meant while treating someone.
I think it's if you're in the middle of like the green bars going
someone.
across your screen, you can't use it.
Yeah,
that's what I
correct.
meant. Sorry.
Yeah, and it depends also on the number of casualties. If there's like 5 tier 1s, having to juggle that while trying to sort out getting them ready for a HLS and giving constant updates could be a little bit too much. But it's pretty much say if we can put them in the vehicle and get them there without them losing like a heart rate or something, make sure they get on the heli, and then that's pretty much where we'd hand off to you. But we don't want to give a casualty out and then have it die on the ramp. It's pretty much the main gist.
Okay.
So they're pretty much there to do HLS stuff, and if they suddenly drop pulse, they can focus on that one person or whoever needs the most serious care.
So
Okay.
if we we break it down from start to finish, from the point of wounding. We'll take Angus's word for it, saying that the salt of water is coming up and it's pretty rapid and pretty spot on. Can we tick off CCPs being too far, too close, too difficult to get to? What are we thinking with CCPs?
In my experience with CCPs, they're always within. The only time that a CCP has been too far behind is because I've been waiting too long for a Husky to turn up to collect the first batch of casualties that I've got. That's the only time that I've noticed CCPs being too far back. My battle buddy, if you will, is the medic. That's the only person that I have anywhere near me when I'm at a CCP, because I'll stay there with the medic and wait until the casualties are collected. But I can't move casualty up to the next point of a CCP because I'm dragging him further away from a point of collection. And also when I do it, I think Barrett's knees cave in a little bit. Yeah, CCPs have only been too far behind the front lines and like the movement of the platoon when I've been sat there waiting for an Uber to turn up to come and collect the first batch of casualties. So from my point of view, the thing that needs to be improved and where the lack of time is, from what I see, is on the occasion when it takes too long for a Husky to come over and collect casualties from CCP.
I think I'd agree with that.
How many medics are on per night?
3.
Yeah, we're only allowed 3 now.
Yeah, they have one with platoon HQ, one with. Do you put one with guns? Do you?
No,
or
it goes.
AT, one with AT, and then one with Koi.
Wouldn't it make
pretty much-
sense to have a
to have
medic
two
with a
with
husky?
that's
Yeah, the
what,
Huskies
people
with
in Koi do.
Koi.
Yeah, but
No.
wouldn't it make sense to have your own vehicle?
Yeah.
But then you're one guy in a vehicle on your own.
You got me and Alex with you.
Yeah, a lot of times it's Nielsen or someone driving.
All
Yeah.
I'm thinking is the problem that I've underlined so far is that you can't treat in transit because you're trying to do the radio. Why not take that away and just treat and have someone else do the radio?
So you always have 2 representatives from Air Command on a night, Hudson, is that right?
Indeed.
So if you've got 2 people from Air Command and the medic in like an ambulance or something, then you've got at least, well, you've got one person to drive, which let's use the medic for an example as the driver for the ambulance. And you've got yourself and Alex. One can do the comms, the other one can treat en route. So as soon as a casualty is at the CCP, you can move your ambulance and scramble if needed to Chinook.
What
It sounds like we need another signaller.
Oh,
Basically.
don't talk about signals in front of
Oh
us.
god.
You don't need another signaller. Okay, so let me put a bud in that. Medics, who do you need to talk to on the radio when you're dealing with a casualty at the Koi CCP?
Normally the other medics.
Why? You got,
depend
let's
on
say
the
you've got
invite,
5 T1s.
But you say Koi
Oh,
CCP.
he's gone. Vils,
We
you've
talked
gone.
about
Vils,
Koi
you've gone.
or with
Oh,
Milsim?
I'm back. If you've got 5 casualties at the Koi CCP,
Hmm.
who do you need to speak to?
Shout out
Hudson.
to Electro Hudson.
That's it.
Okay,
Whoever's-
you don't need to do that on the radio, do you?
Sometimes it depends how far if Hudson or Alex has ran off. But most of the time, no.
Right,
So you should be fine. So that's always that issue.
Yeah.
The experience that I've had with it and the feedback that I've had from platoon commanders, infantry, about the casualty chain is there are multiple points where it's slow. Do I think it's too slow at the moment? No, I think we're massively ahead of where we used to be, where a 30-minute round trip was a fucking blessing. It used to take about 45 minutes to an hour. The times I have noticed it has been slow is when I've been filling in as 10 Charlie and I've pulled up to a CCP and the casualties are there, but they're not being loaded in and we're continuing to treat. You can treat in transit in the Husky, and as soon as they're into the Husky, they do not have to go back to a Koi CCP. They can either be moved straight to the HLS or wherever they need to be. The delay side of things for the JHC perspective, which I'll touch on, is that it takes you no longer than, I would say, 7 minutes to fly across any map. The grand scheme of things.
Yeah, that'd be correct, yeah.
It's very quick. whereas in real life you'd be,
30 minutes, hour, 2 hours.
30 minutes to an hour away. So it takes us a lot of time. Now we're kind of branching out of realism a little bit here with the casualty chain because of we want to play the game, right? We don't want to be sat doing it realistically, pulling everyone back to a battalion aid station, a field hospital, triaging them there, getting them sorted by doctors and nurses, etc., and then pulling them and then melting them from a location like that. We've kind of gone through the new British Army route where they pull them back to a degree. We don't do all of the waiting time in the triage, we just get a helicopter in. So it takes very little time for you guys to get up in the air and then to us. What it takes us a lot of time for is, for example, Angus takes 3 T1s in his first contact, in his initial contact, and he goes and picks them up and pulls them back. They're handed to Coy. They are then in the casualty chain between point B and C. So we've got point A, the initial point of contact, point B is Angus, and C is Coy. So they are now in the casualty chain between B and C. They get to the Coy medic. Angus then takes more casualties. And then the Husky is then on the move back to A while we're waiting for either a bird that's in a holding pattern or trying to move them, but we don't have the manpower to then move them there. So I think there's 2 things that need to be looked at primarily. I think, Hudson, we need to look at how long we leave it until we call the bird, because we know that you guys are fast at getting up in the air now. It used to be very different before. Back in the day, it used to take about 45 minutes to even fucking get hold of someone. Just be drinking tea or eating a dinner somewhere.
Can I just say I remember those days?
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a fucking good time. Us getting it down to 15 minutes or 10 minutes or even 5 minutes that it is now is fucking fantastic. So the 2 things we need to look at, right, is when do we call in the bird? And do we call in the bird and just have you spooled up, sat on the pad, or do we have you in a holding pattern above us? That's really a choice for the pilots to make at that stage. And then there's a casualty collection point at the platoon HQ area. So there's been multiple times where I've arrived in the T1s, you guys are still stabilizing them. I would say that your best bet is to load them into the Husky and then treat on the move with the Coy medic. He then picks up from the platoon medic, and platoon medic, you then stay where you are in preparation to receive more casualties. Because your casualties will never all be gathered at once. You're always going to have a trickle of them as you get into a contact. As you move on to your initial position, your first section takes a couple of casualties. The second section then takes over, and they will take casualties as well and have to be pulled back eventually. You kind of understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I think treating on transit is easily the best thing to do without question. It's just a matter of having enough hands to treat people and keep people appraised of what's going on.
You triage it.
Definitely. And yeah, like Hudson said, that's why you triage it. But I am aware that sometimes you guys get like fucking 5 T1s, 10 T1s, and there's not much you can do. The best thing we can do in that situation is not get stressed out about how many T1s we have around us. Is just get them loaded up, because as soon as we get them onto the board, then onto the bird, then we have 3 crew members.
Yeah, you got about 3 people with the same training as the free med that over
with the
here.
same training, so we can get them sorted. So if you can focus on the most urgent, and if they die, they die. I know we all play the game to, try and make sure that no one does die, but if they die, they die. You're never going to get someone that's a wee bit annoyed because they've died in the casualty chain. You'll probably get a private on the ground go, oh, thank fuck I died, now I just need to get reinserted. Which is very true, and if you've been in the infantry here and that's not the case, then you're lying.
He's not wrong.
We're going to go T4 than T1.
You'd rather
not
go
wrong.
T4 than T1, because it means all you have to do is walk to the front of a little fucking orange line and you get inserted straight away and you're off.
The most annoyed I've seen an infantryman is when I've had to tell him he's tier 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially a T2 arm is a worst nightmare for
yeah.
an infantryman, because we can still run, we can still fucking shoot, we don't care what you say about your broken arm. But it's annoying, but everyone goes along with it because, realism side. It's the immersion side of it, so we go along with it. So I think the 2 areas to improve: us collecting casualties from a platoon CCP. Also, I think you all need to realise that we have 1 Husky with usually 1 person in there with a medic.
And that person being Milsim, 9 times out of 10.
Milsim, Tucker, me, Dale, Neil, whoever's running it. In addition, that's one Husky. So if we're back at the platoon, then we're not at the Koi area. If we're at the Koi area, we're not at the platoon area. If we get information that there's urgent T1s back at the platoon area, sometimes we will just fucking dump T2s out of the back of it and fuck off and tell them to limp towards an HLS. Because T1s obviously are more important.
Is it an option when you have mass casualties that if you've got the T1s back to Koi pretty quickly, that the bird gets called in, we pick them up, and then we continue treating them while circle, and then come in again a second time pretty quickly to pick up the second round and return with one lot to base?
See,
Yeah,
this is
definitely.
where I come up with that idea of the doctor, hence your big fuck off backpack. We've done it twice at the weekend. Feedback from Elkin was very, very positive. Morgan done it on Saturday and Sunday. I've spoken to Barrett about it before. Basically, what Zoe's got in her backpack is basically what you've lot got in your backpack, but times 3. She has fucking absolutely everything in there.
Jesus.
So,
I will say,
are you looking?
if you don't mind me interrupting, Hudson, as well, there is something else that I did forget to mention, is the type of ground we're operating in. Obviously, we don't have the restrictions that you guys have because we're on our two little pegs. So we can go off. If you look at your maps in the top northwest in the live fire area, we can be operating around PB Lego in this valley, where the nearest HLS to get out, for example, let's say the enemy's down here, could be all the way back, you know, a good 2 kilometers away or a kilometer away. But it takes us a lot of time to move that distance.
So in my eyes, to counter that is we just land closer.
Now I'm all for that.
Which is what Mr.
Previous
Fellows
OCs
wants.
in the past fucking hated the idea of Chinooks landing forwards. It is up to you as pilots to say, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna land right behind the front line. Your
Can I
biggest
just say,
risk.
that's what the Puma was for.
Yeah, exactly. Your biggest risk is shoulder-mounted weapon systems such as RPGs, stuff like that. You need to trust in the infantry because they are like laser beams when they see an infantryman step up. And I would advise you all maybe try and fill in with the infantry one night and see what it's like. As soon as they see a target, as soon as they see a little face pop up over a hill, and if you watch the Friday night fight, which was a very good example of it, when you saw the bullet tracers,
when you just see a head, the amount of
you see them just snap onto it, and they will RTR the shit out of him. All fire rates go out the window. They just start spraying the shit out of them, which is what you're supposed to do.
Especially if they've
So
got
if you guys can trust
RPG.
that, then you land as far forwards as you can.
Well, we had it
Also,
last deployment, didn't we?
got a big fat minigun on the side.
We had it last
And
deployment, didn't we?
We don't get to use it.
Bugbear is I never fucking hear that thing, and I love it. I've seen it twice, and I've been here for 2 and a bit years.
I've seen it.
One time, Wick destroyed an entire town with it, and I laughed. And then the other time was someone on the last deployment. Hudson was flying into an HLS, and there were enemies.
On the HLS?
On
Oh,
that bit
yeah, I
there.
remember pointing that out on the camera.
And it was a big fucking hill, and the minigun was just lighting it up and
It's
smashing
Brooke, wasn't it? Brooke's first
It
night
was
on.
Brooke,
We have used it, yeah.
Baker's fucking brew and brewed with it.
So if you're comfortable to land in places like that,
I mean,
we'll
that's what
fucking do it.
The
If
tricky
you
bird
can
is
land
there
it,
to just get into it. It doesn't care what's around it. But we got a spare bird if we really need it, but the tricky is there to get in under contact.
As quick as we can.
I
quick as
draw
possible.
on the map, right, just in the sea. And you're gonna have to forgive me because my draw button is the same as my mute button. Right, so that's your forward line.
You're drawing it in group.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
drawing it in group.
No, I can see
No,
it.
you're not.
Oh,
No, you can see it in the sea,
I
yep.
thought it was a fucking pier.
With no end on it.
Yeah.
That's your forward line. Your lead section. You know, we're getting into platoon commanders courses here.
This will be very useful for me.
Yeah, you need this. The platoon's in a 2-up formation. So they've got 2 sections up front, 1 section behind. Their CCP, they're in a 2-up, or if they're in a 1-up, he's there. Right? Boy, most important people, the handsomest,
When you don't get your vehicle blown up by an
As
RPG.
some people have said, not me, other people. By my nice HQ thing.
Is it the hotel on Neochori?
In the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lie. You're never that close.
We fucking are.
You're over here somewhere, mate.
We are on Saturdays, just not Wednesdays and Sundays.
Yeah, we are on Saturdays. It's then me. If I fill in on Wednesdays and Sundays, I'm fucking sat there getting itchy because I'm like, Tucker Nielsen, fucking move up. Jesus Christ, come on.
You've seen it, Angus, on Sunday where I told Tucker we're too far behind, let's move. What the fuck do I do? I've only done JHC. I ain't fucking done section commanders.
Angus, more often than not, I have fucking pushed past your position to get eyes on shit.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Koi should be there. The setup of which is you have me. Got
For all the colours.
the medic. He's a little bit further behind us. And you've got, I'm going to use Arma for Nielsen because he's a tank.
When he's not crashing into trees.
You've got Nielsen behind him, right?
Red 4.
They're in contact, they take a casualty. That casualty is then moved or not, depending on the arc. What will happen is everyone's moving forwards, right? Everyone's moving on that axis. So they're moving up. There's a casualty here. Then Angus and his rear section will move his CCP up. And we will also move up. And then he'll come and grab him and pull him back here. If you can land... Christ, more fucking shit. If you can land there... then that's fantastic for us.
That'd be magical.
I mean, I have no complaints with that, but it's just if you get blown up, I don't want to deal with more casualties and then having to start.
I mean, if you get blown up, then we're fucked. But you've got an issue.
To be fair, if we get blown up, we're normally dead. Yeah.
Put faith in your tree, put faith in your pilots.
I say that's a great plan.
As long as it's Fisher, ain't Fisher flying, we're alright.
I haven't actually seen a Chinook blow up in quite a while. Significant amount of time.
You need to come back on Sundays then.
Okay.
That's what Fisher's about.
Is that what Fisher's about? It's a lot of flack. So I would say for you guys, for your training tonight, if you're doing any practical stuff, it's for JHC, it's hot HLSs. For 3 med, it's getting people into Huskies and treating them in there.
Yeah, that checks out.
Unless the JTAC turns to you and says, and do my best Muscat voice. Hey Blizzard, the Chinook's coming in.
Jesus Christ.
I bet that hurt your throat doing that.
Yeah, it did hurt my throat doing that.
It's like you smell the dungeon.
When did Muscat join the fucking server, for fuck's sake?
Another thing I'd point out of 3 med is you can hand them over with no heart rate. You can hand them over leaking. You can hand them over with no blood pressure. You can carry them in the Husky, not touch them, and hand them over. We still do the same medical as you. The only difference is we carry a pack and you don't. Everything else is exactly the same.
And this is why you missed. This is why you missed are super important, right? Because if you hand air, let's say Angus has a Mazcat, 20 casualties, right? Then focus on the T1s. Fucking ignore the T2s because there's too many in that scenario, right? Focus on the T1s and then tell them who is the most priority. Have they had drugs? Have they got a heart rate? What is the most life-threatening one that they need to focus on in the back of the bird? And that's what you get and you missed. The mechanism of injury, just fucking blaze through that. Get on T-vitals and stuff like that as fast as you can.
It's
Mechanism of injury. War.
Yeah.
It's only going to be a gunshot wound.
He's been
explosion.
He's been shot.
Exploded.
Yeah, exactly. Like, injury or illness sustained, yeah, cool, important. However, the S is the more important side. If he's got catastrophic bleeding, if his airway's blocked, which we don't have anymore, if he's got no pulse, if he's fucking unconscious, other signs, he's got a crusty bottle, needs some Avon or something.
I'd say, for the minimum, just plug their holes. If that's all you can do, that's better than nothing. Yeah, plug the holes and then get moving, and then do what else you can on the move.
They do take a fair amount of time to actually die from no vitals, to be fair.
15 minutes.
Is it 15?
15 minutes.
15.
Okay, I thought it was 5. It was 5.
15
Oh,
minutes.
well,
It's like the other
15
day.
minutes to die from a cardiac arrest. I want
Yeah.
to live in this world.
The other day, I spent the entire flight back defibbing someone, and they made it.
Yep,
I
same.
have someone like 30 times just.
Let me
I must
double,
have done it about
let me
6,
double
7
check
times.
it right now for you.
No,
fuck
I'm
me,
gonna
if
die,
it's-
aren't I?
If it's
It's
15 minutes,
yeah.
yeah, if it's 15 minutes, mate, just fucking smack bandages all over them. Stick 500 mil saline in either arm and fucking leave them until we get to them. If that's all you want to
Yeah.
do, obviously go further if you've got the time and you can, without getting yourself
Yeah.
muddled up and in a shit state.
And that's why I've been
Right,
holding
if
them
the
back.
bleeding, it's 3 minutes.
Oof.
Okay, that's why I've been
Cardiac
holding them
arrest
back
time
now.
is 10 minutes.
Oh fuck.
10,
No, there
yeah.
you go.
Oh,
then.
yeah,
Just
that's
plug
fine.
it
Plenty
out.
of time.
Easy.
That is
Stop the
definitely
bleeds.
So yeah,
Well-
for free med, I don't know. I can't speak for Neil or Birch, but I can speak for myself. I always carry shitloads of
Fucking hell, here
bandages.
we go.
What's that?
Smudge.
Oh,
I mean, I carry 25 each man.
I can't. Yeah, you never checked.
Funny enough,
Stand
over
right
there,
and tell him to fuck off. Looks like he's got a fucking
Don't worry, it's only Smudge, you'll be alright.
Yeah, for 3 men, I can't speak for Neil or Birch, but I always carry a shitload of bandages. And if you need to put me to work plugging holes, put me to work plugging holes. And I know a couple of you have done in the past, but just because I'm busy on the radios, if you just come over and say, over here, help me bandage, I can bandage a radio, that's not a problem.
Yeah, if you've got a big use, well, you've also got not Alex because Alex doesn't carry them anymore because of radio range. But you would have me and Alex. We both got advanced med on our slot. But you know, well, Barrett knows I carry a shitload of medical supplies as well because he's stolen them before. Not stolen them, he's borrowed them.
Requisition.
And
still
and
waiting
He's
for the
utilised
turn back,
them.
aren't
as Mark and Blizzard and Godfrey know, fucking any chance to get stuck in with medical, I'll do it as well. So that's your extra pair of hands in the Husky if need be. Just ask. I get bored as fuck sitting there talking to Tucker, Vils and Nielsen. They're boring as fuck. So to get on the front line and do something would be fantastic.
Platoon side, you can always ask me to call in the CTMs as well. We've got 3 CTMs within the sections. So if you need an extra hand still, let me know ahead of time and I can call the CTMs in. Mr. Bem, I hope you're all familiar with Mr. Bem.
Yep.
We're very familiar with that.
We can get Bem stuck in any. If I was to say I need all CTMs, you'll see Bem running through the grass like Bambi towards the CTM.
You wouldn't even finish the sentence before he's there.
He's got like
If
a
I just-
telepathic link. It's weird.
If I
Ends up
could just hop
pissed,
onto free med so I can battle with that.
Go on.
Got a plan for the CTM stuff. I'm gonna happily use that one day. Don't know when, but I'll use it.
Mhm.
In terms of now, there being 10 minutes for cardiac arrest, then I am happy for just chucking people in Husky and then just tell them to fuck off somewhere else.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Just bandage them up and tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, that's
And
what
you
that's
just
what we're gonna be doing.
send them on the way.
Also, go on, fellas.
I think we need to call up these scramble calls a little bit earlier as well. If they're sat on the HLS waiting for us to show up, I think as soon as you hear about it, let us spool up and
Yeah.
hover nearby.
Mm.
Not hover,
There should be
circle
no
nearby.
waiting.
And we should be able to, as soon as you arrive, or even before if it's fairly safe, we'll just throw it down on the ground next to you and you can shove them in.
Yeah,
We
I
can,
mean,
in,
even,
in that,
you could even, like, is maybe something for Koi to discuss and Platoon HQs to discuss, even on MERT calls, maybe bring in something like when the 3-liner's coming in, we'll say that the HLS will be marked with smoke, and if you don't see the smoke, then don't fucking land because we're not ready yet.
that's where me and fucking Alex will come in because we'll just come in and secure the fuck out of it like we did on Sunday night. What did we do? We went up to the front line.
Is that when you came over to me?
Yeah, mate. Godfrey, fucking lifesaver. Then, mate, fucking squared the casualties
What did
right
I do?
away. you done your job, mate. That's what you done.
Well, I
And
like
you
to
done it
hear-
fucking well.
Quote, and I quote, hot shit.
Yeah, we I just turned to Alex and went, "There's T1s. There's an open space there. It's on the front line. Let's bring the bird in." Me and Alex went down there, secured it. I found Angus. Said to Angus, "Who's your IC?" It was Walton, I think.
Mhm.
Just said, "Tell Walton there's going to be a helicopter landing there in 3 minutes." Relayed everything I knew to Godfrey. Godfrey relayed everything he knew to me, and the bird landed on the front line safely.
Right, what are your plans for the rest of tonight? Is this just a talk? talk through issues and identify them, or are you just going to do training? Or...
Down to 3 minutes, they want to do practical, but I'm going to get 18 to do a practical.
I'll have to do practical.
I feel like
make
we've
it
pretty
easy.
much cracked the theory.
Yeah.
So
Hudson,
I'm up for
Mhm.
whatever.
the other thing that we did on Sunday night, which I hadn't really seen before, is when Tricky was coming into land, if Vortex was there, the crew from Vortex were ready and waiting when we had multiple casualties to help us carry them back. And that really helped as well. It meant we could get them into the tent much quicker.
Oh, that's just down
You're
to
welcome.
the other crew being switched on.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
good admin, really, isn't it?
But it
Quick
helped.
question. Sorry, Moses, help you.
Nope, I'm done.
Why don't Air Command talk to Infantry Command, set up some holding areas that are a bit closer to the HLSs that will be needed the evening?
Well,
That way-
I don't think we need to draw it all up on the map. We can pretty much, as long as we're hovering behind friendly lines, or
Yeah.
circling behind friendly lines, it's fairly okay. I mean, I was going up and down the river just before pulling into the that HLS on
Yeah, you was
Sunday.
around Orion, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Flying
yeah.
around, you was out of
which was-
range, down low.
Exactly.
very
I
pretty.
was fairly close, and if you set up a holding area, you risk the point of they move forwards and you still stay in your holding area, and they're just getting further and further away, and then it just defeats the point of it. So I think it comes down to pilot's discretion. Obviously, you stay in the safest point as you can find. So I was sitting low down a river, but yeah, I don't know if we really need to sort out holding areas at this point yet.
Well, we were only 30 seconds out, weren't we? When we were in the holding.
I mean, yeah, that's why I was holding it around 30 seconds.
Again, as well with if it's that much of a shit state where it's like it probably wouldn't happen on the coin, but maybe a conventional after a rocket attack. You've got 10 tier 1s that need moving. We can bring that bird in, and as we did on the weekend, we can drop the 5th crew member off, who will have that massive backpack, and they can assist the platoon medic and the coin medic in that CCP. The bird can go away, and the bird will be safe. It won't get blown up. And then that medic who jumps off the helicopter, sorry, the doctor who jumps off the helicopter, is in PRR comms with every single crew member on the helicopter. And I don't know, how did that work for you fellows at the weekend?
Absolutely fine. He called me in when he was ready for me to come in. I came in 30 seconds later, and it was shove him on the bird and go.
Same for me on Saturday.
Give him a parachute, turn him into PJs.
And then in that situation, we can kill 2 birds, 1 stone as well. If any of the medics are low on supplies, they can just go in the backpack of the MERT doctor and take whatever they need out. Because I think Zoe's got about fucking 85 litres of saline in there.
Come and have a look.
50
Oh,
of
you've got
each
Ryan's
bandage.
bag.
What did I put in
Hudson,
there?
are we having the discussion on saline and blood tonight, or is that something that's going to be squared away another time?
You can bring the idea forward if you want.
Oh, I mean, you brought it forwards. I was just asking
That's
if
not as much kit as I
you're getting
thought.
clarification.
Honestly,
on it.
same.
I'm only little. I can't carry that much.
We carry nearly that one of the same anyway.
I
But
just
yeah,
carried 5 extra bandages.
Yeah, even then, it's still a good thing to have. So
That's
yeah,
very nice, yeah.
pikey of you.
The what? Sorry.
Pikey?
Yeah,
Take
Realise you
any-
were
You
Egyptian.
can't call it pikey, it's fucking Gucci.
Bit like
acquisitioning
it's a bit like
things.
calling your own propaganda. It just defeats the
What
purpose.
was the conversation we had about blood? I can't fucking remember.
It
We were
was
on about-
Saline versus blood, and having blood in the bird, and then
Blood goes off.
But it stays okay in the birds. It's fine.
Does it?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's what
they've
they
got mini fridge
confirmed.
on it. They just take beers out and then
Because the
put blood in.
helicopter's classified as
we're not taking those beers out.
Well,
actually.
Beer ain't going out. But the question
Well, now
was,
we've removed the Red Bull, we should have enough collection.
oh, ha ha. But the question was, if we were going to use blood, there had to be a benefit to using it. And at the moment, you get exactly the same benefit from using blood or saline. So you either had to nerf saline or give blood something more.
I mean, they both do the same job.
Yeah.
The reason we
That's
carry
not bad.
saline is because it's lighter than blood.
And blood goes off in the backpack really
Is it
quick.
lighter?
Yeah, for some reason. It's lighter.
There's water in it, blood's like.
I'll
thick
accept
blood.
that.
So
Sloshy.
so if we buffed blood and gave it to the JHC doctors, that could be a thing.
People could come back to life quicker on the bird than they would
Yep.
on the ground.
Yeah.
But then
Bills, is that
if-
something we can do?
Oh, no, I don't know.
We'd have to keep the blood in the vehicle or something.
it'd be
Yeah. So
stay in
yeah.
the
So if we kept
In
it
the bird.
in the MERT vehicle,
In the Chinook. Just keep it in
that's
the Chinook.
the word.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Use it as emergency.
I mean,
Replacing the
the
ship.
blood thing's not fucking. It's not a big thing because if it can't be changed, then fuck it. You just carry on using saline. Saline does the same job.
Don't look like it. I think it might be ace.
That's something to look at HR, right? The immediate effects now is what we've discussed tonight.
Yep.
I mean, I have one potential issue that could happen with Koi, which I've experienced.
Cool.
And that's pretty much having the medic having to do all the driving for the motor run, so we can't treat them. Just for an example, on Wednesday, I had to drive all of them like casualty runs.
That because is that after on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a 1-0 Charlie in.
I believe so, and I had to drive all of them. And I know sometimes I've seen, I think Blizzard had to drive one of them as well.
Yeah, I've had to drive quite a few times when Milsim's gone for shit mid-op.
So it's sometimes a bit difficult when we have to try and stabilize casualties as well as drive.
Yeah, of course. There's always going to be that, time. Sometimes people from both sides go FK. And it's just something we've got to deal with. But I think the faster point is the points we've discussed tonight. I think is a good step forwards, and then if that becomes more of an issue, then we can make sure that we expand out Koi to include that Charlie slot.
But you don't need to, as I said, you've got me and Alex here as well. So
yeah, exactly.
You can take one of us and then
tap one of the JTACs.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who drives then, because we've both got advanced medical. Anyone can drive and anyone can treat.
If push comes to shove, what you can do is you can take the platoon medic with you, and then I can holler back one of the CTMs to come at the CCP until I get a free med asset back. Because a CTM can't administer drugs, but we can keep them alive. We can CPR and we can monitor them.
You keep plugging holes.
We can plug out, which gives us that 10-minute window then. As long as they're plugged, we've got 10 minutes until we need to get
we can
drugs
get in and out within 7.
Yeah, with that new knowledge, I think that's going to really speed things up.
Yeah, I didn't know it was 10, I thought it was 5.
I always thought it was 2 minutes if they were bleeding.
3.
That's handy to know. I have an extra minute to play with.
It's being generous in Arma, because in real life you could just be out in 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Going into coin as well, I honestly think we could take away that transit from platoon to Koi and just get the helicopter at platoon.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea too.
So with that,
that's mainly only because we're in conventional, where there is a higher threat to the airframes. The only threat to the airframes in things like Coin are started positions, which will get seen, IDs on HLS, which you won't encounter because you're not going to use the same HLS more than twice or go back to them and set a pattern. And then things like RPGs and stuff that will also get seen by the infantry.
Hudson, a question for you. On Coin, when that HLS is, or even in conventional, when that HLS is so close to platoon, what's the scenario there? Is it down to platoon HQ to find and set up a HLS, or would we just
It'll be down to me and Alex or JTAC.
Or our JTAC?
Yeah, it's not your job to find the HLS.
Okay.
That's the reason why you have a JTAC.
But we can recommend, can't we?
Free med as well. Free med also, when they're setting up their RAPs, CCPs, should be looking out for potential HLS sites.
Okay.
I know they don't know the perfect dimensions and width, but they're all
I've set
smart
up one
blokes.
before, and that was
Yeah,
just finding a nice.
They're all smart blokes, and they know when a Chinook won't and will fit in a gap.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Depends how much lube you put on it, really. But
I was waiting for someone. I thought Moses was going to come out with it, but no, it was fellow.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm innocent.
Yeah.
Yes, silence.
So
Thanks. Fuck off the lot of you.
We've got essentially a forward HLS there for casualties. And then you could have that insert HLS, so the danger HLS for the Vortex, Tricky, and then essentially you could have your second HLS to bring them back in here.
Tricky can tickle it a little bit and relay that information to Vortex and be like, yeah, that's cool, just go 200 meters east, 200 meters west, just so, as I said, you're not landing on the same place. Yeah, and we can even take it a step further by talking to 5-0 and platoon HQs and Koi HQs as well to make sure the HLS is covered, whether that be by smoke screen or pure firepower.
Yeah, because I was just thinking that's for danger HLS, which is not the one we always want to be going into with Vortex essentially, but Tricky we always want to throw it into danger.
Well, the thing is that once you've picked up casualties with Tricky.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. So once you pick up from the danger HLS with Tricky, when you come back in to drop off people with Vortex, the infantry would have pushed forward and gained more ground in that time that's elapsed. So it wouldn't be on the front line anymore. It will be behind the front line.
In theory.
In
in
theory, yeah.
that's scenario dependent. Knowing obviously next deployment, I don't think it's gonna be that easy. But people will find that out when we get there.
So do you think it's worth opening more new HLSs quicker than just having 3 across the night, having maybe 6, and just staggering them a little bit further and further forwards? As we go.
Your HLSs should trail the platoon.
Yeah.
If ground suits and there's no air threat, and hopefully there shouldn't be an air threat because we've got an Apache attached to us.
Which is the problem with conventional, is there's, as Will said, extra air threat, and the map we're on now is pretty fucking wank in most places for ground.
Yeah.
So also more HLSs will give you the chance to have more nice names.
Really,
Notice
Godfrey?
them then.
Really?
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not. I can barely say the fucking HLS names as it is.
You like the vibrator?
Perseus
Yeah,
caused
yeah.
trouble.
I haven't been in there.
Did it?
Yes.
Because
I quite
90% of the
enjoyed that
pilots,
HLS.
A, couldn't spell it, and B, couldn't say it either.
What was it?
I mean, that's not
Perseus.
just me,
Yeah.
so-
Perseus.
Perseus was a big struggle for a lot of
Percy
people.
US.
So we should just
Smudge
have
wrote in
all of the
Percy dash
HLSs as
US.
Greek gods or something.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Fett was the other one. Yeah.
I remember saying to Voiter, I was like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "HLS." I was like, "HLS Perse."
Well,
He's like,
that's fucking whenever you're talking to Voiter on the radio.
That's if he's not falling asleep.
That's Muscat.
We'll have them all as Welsh towns, it'll be fine.
Aberystwyth or something.
Theme
The
for Wednesday
ridiculously
night,
long Welsh name.
Russian words.
Yeah.
Anyway, as far as
Barbushka.
practical goes, personally, I don't think we need to practice the actual chain of evacuation. If pre-med don't want to do any joint practical, then I'm going to take 18 and we're going to do hot HLS stuff.
I want to take 3 men and do like radio comms and that.
Yeah, you know how to do a miss that, don't you?
Mhm.
Yeah, go on. Fancy you. You can crack on to do that if you want.
But, yeah, and just do a miss to fuck the hat off.
I'm gonna run them
It's
through
really
like,
important
miss
nowadays.
stats, but I'm gonna run them through it, but I'm gonna
So.
say like primarily they could miss.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
make sure they know like the out as well.
Whilst I'm here, as I'm, most of you guys in JHC, maybe you don't know what occurs on the ground infantry-wise.
What's occurring?
What's occurring, like?
What's occurring? Have you got any questions for me, or for that matter, Vils, while we're here?
Which end of the rifle do you point at the enemy?
The flat bit.
It's got yellow on the end, doesn't it? We just use that.
The Hoovy Doo.
Poke the angry bit.
Why do you not use bayonets?
The flat fella.
I don't know, Mr. Head of J4. Why do we not use bayonets?
There was one thing to add, I think, for the military guys, the guys that get shot at a lot. If it is a hot HLS, to throw coloured smoke in the direction of the enemy. Because then when we come down, we get
No.
the minigun in that
We
direction.
can't because, and I'll show you why. If you're the enemy in this scenario and I'm shooting at you and I throw smoke at you, then I can no longer see you. And I also mark the position for me to all of their friends.
Not only that, is the smoke grenade bounces as well.
We can load tracers and start shooting tracers at them.
Yeah. It's anything to let, because if we're coming in and it is hot.
Yeah. No, I understand.
The gunner needs to know where he should be looking as we come in.
Best
Yeah.
thing we can do is me and Alex.
That should be sent up by the JTAC.
Me and Alex convey that to you.
Okay.
On a hot HLS, we get it from. Depending on who we're with.
You get it from me.
Yeah, we'll go through Vils, or if we're up with platoon, we'll get it from Angus and.
Through the JTAC.
Yeah, and either the JTAC or me and Alex can send it up to whoever's calling in. Whoever's calling in the MERT on the ingress, tell you in which direction and what type of fire you may sustain.
Yeah, because if the Chinook comes in the wrong way round, then that's not going to help anybody.
You'll be on the new
sea liners / 6-liner.
We'd tell you, right? Coming into HLS Perseus, for example, we are under contact from the west.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll just give you a cardinal direction.
Does it
Sometimes we
even
may
have
be
to
able
be
to mark it up with smoke, but it does depend because it does really obscure our view if we're doing stuff like that.
If you tracers is a very good point. I think everybody in the infantry sections carries tracer magazines and tracer belts and whatnot. So if you need it with tracers, just if you Hudson either make sure that message comes down to us through COI or through the JTAC even, then we can issue the order to load tracers platoon wide, and we can just get every fucking cunt with a rifle load tracers.
Yeah, I don't have tracers.
I so want to be tricky wizard.
You're a
Even I
medic,
carry
you don't need
tracers.
You are
tracers.
tomorrow.
I'm just
I
saying.
know.
for this.
I can't wait.
You can have
I need
you can have one of mine, Godfrey. I'll give you a tracer mag, and you can join in the light show.
Oh, thanks, Senpai.
I don't use anything else.
Nighttime lasers as well.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you've got your NVGs on, you'll be able to see the lasers. And
Yeah, they'll usually always be marked up with lasers if that's the case, because we use them for our grits.
Just try and think about what end of the laser to shoot at.
It's the one closest to us, isn't it?
No,
Don't
we're
do
still
that.
having fucking lightsaber.
Just make sure if you do that, it's not anti-tank.
I do do.
What was that, Barrett? Yeah, doo-doo.
Anything else?
So to summarize, the theory that we've got so far is 3 mid will focus on bandaging and stitching, and then transporting. And if we have
Stopping the
time,
bleeding.
Other way
yeah,
down.
stuff. What did I say?
Get them in the husky, bandage them in there.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, platoon medics plug holes, stabilize if possible. If your mid stabilizing husky turns up too bad, put them in husky.
Well, they're fucking the
Question.
section team medic should be bandaging them.
Yeah,
As if
but
he just
there's
put his hand
sometimes.
up. As if he just put his hand.
Who just put their hand up?
I've got a question.
Yeah, well, he did
Go on,
the
put
right
your
thing.
hand up again, Mark. Go on.
Go on.
I didn't see it.
He just wants to use the animation.
Oh, there goes. You have a question. Go for it.
Yeah, you know, you're saying you get in the husky, bandage him and transfer. What if we can't get him in the husky and we're pinned down and can't move?
And we
What do you
land
mean you
close.
can't get them in the husky?
Yeah, sometimes we've had the issue of they don't load into the husky.
Can't respawn.
Oh yeah, we had that on Sunday as well.
No, okay. We'll
Can't
just get to
respawn.
Right.
Mark, do you mean if you're on the fire,
Shoot back.
or did you mean yes? You do. Get them in the husky. Don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're under fire, get somebody on the husky's 50 cal.
Yeah, husky's got a big gun on it.
We know you.
And
love to
if
shoot
you
50 cal,
die, Godfrey, what happened the last time that you died when you were attached to me? Did you die, or did you? Well, that you got T1s. Did you
I was
die, or
gonna
did
say,
you come
yeah.
back?
I don't remember dying, so yeah.
There we go.
I don't like that husky gun. Last time I was on it, I took 40 mil to
I don't think I've died in about a month
The
now.
best thing to be do what we did on phase 1, which was break contact. Heads up, Hudson's about to get loud. Smudge is coming back in for a landing.
Oh, we'll finish up.
God.
We'll throw smokes at him.
Oh, I've got UGL. Hang on.
Oh god.
You also have an 84.
Yeah,
You must have an eye law.
unlike another F-35 pilot, you can avoid them.
Whoa!
Oh.
Apparently that was aimed at, so.
The only other one.
Oh, I've only got
No, there was
HEDP.
an
Oh, well.
ex-F-35 pilot, I'll say.
HEGP will do.
Angus, if you hit him, I'll give you 10.
Oh yes.
He just
Look at him. Everyone wants to watch
Angus,
now.
when he's in the air.
While he's in the air.
Over there, man,
Yep.
over there. South.
There he is. Nope. Oh!
Very close.
I bet you made him shit his fucking pants.
What did he say? Did he say something? Oh.
He did go around though, to be fair.
Yeah, I
Did
think he's coming. Yeah, I think he's coming back around.
Yeah, he's gone back up.
He's probably coming back for you, Angus.
Round 2. Fucking
Yeah.
get in there.
I think he might win in this.
Did I
round,
hear
Angus.
somebody say run to the arsenal and pick out Nicola?
No, just go Star Street. Oh god, he's gone for the eye.
Here he is, above us, above us.
I've shot down the fucking Chinaman lightning.
Angus, don't backblast yourself with the ground.
Backblast stuff on the ground.
Give me a javelin, I'm trained. No, Starstreak, that's what I meant.
He's not too far away.
I was gonna say, he's got enough medics.
Fucking next to you.
Hudson, permission to give Smudge a target?
I mean,
That'd be live
probably
live
next
training.
for Angus.
Jousting, Mac.
I do target that car. Niles, get do a gun run.
Niles,
When
I'm
you've got like a
lasering him.
GBU or something.
Was that?
I was lasering him.
Liam's got to do it with a cannon.
Yeah. Gun run it.
Liam's got to do it with a
times 3
cannon, not the fucking GPU, otherwise we're all gonna die.
And the building. And all the vehicles.
I mean, GBU would be funnier.
20
Nah, cannons be funnier. Because Angus might get a chance to shoot back.
Are we coming?
I love the way
Please
we're all
make sure he
standing here
references red
waiting.
smoke.
I guess I'll get behind the wall.
Nobody's
Nah.
turning him.
One of us is gonna fucking die.
Well, I mean, there's enough
Oh,
medics
right.
here, so we should be good.
No, but if we're all standing in line, you'll get us as
There's
one.
really red smoke.
I can't see shit now.
Oh, I can
Where's
see a
Smudge
hand
even
as well.
gone?
See.
He's right, coming through the smoke now.
Ah.
How would it fucking
Yeah.
If he hadn't done that wrong, he probably would have been dead. I was just waiting for someone to get started.
Reference red smoke, infantry Inigo, but engage.
I mean, I would. I'm
Here he
very
goes,
keen
he's
to
coming
get
back.
started, I don't want to get
You're
yelled
running
at.
close though, Angus.
He's coming back, Angus.
It was very close.
I'm gonna try and make you
Oh wait,
DP.
someone does have a Starstreak.
Angus, you need to try these things.
Here he comes to the west.
Yeah, because Will's on Star Street, so he's getting.
Oh.
Fucking ears.
Judah.
Oh, very good, Smudge.
Get him?
No.
Now the question is, can he defeat a Samsung?
He's just gonna drop a £2,000 right on top of us.
I mean, I can't blame him if he does.
Ah, he's a good lad.
Oh, he's flying over phase one.
Well, that was the last of his chaffy.
Always flying over phase 1.
Yeah, I wouldn't shooting down over phase 1.
I wouldn't be flying over phase one.
Not the
You wanna
not
shout
the
the ball?
smartest move.
I really wish the flying planes in Arma was like flying in DCS, and I'd definitely go for them.
We need a chat regarding jets.
That's what I
Oh,
wanted to speak to you about before we came on here.
Oh, fucking hell, does everyone want to speak to me about jets?
Yeah, can we have tornadoes back, please?
I'd love to go for the change it around to a Eurofighter, and I'm fucking happy.
No, tornadoes. Ready.
I think you've just made somebody very fucking
Stop
happy.
the
Like I said,
wanking.
which one? You say
GR1.
tornado, but it's fucking
F-35s
both
are
of
just
them.
a bit shit, aren't they? It's
GR1,
just too new.
GR4. Happy with that.
GR4. I just want the Harrier GR6.
Guys, I've got to
GR
move the Chinook.
GR4.
The bullets already spawned.
I don't know what's happening to
What?
me now.
Do you want me to move the Chinook?
No, it's alright.
He's coming back in from the northeast.
If someone's going to spawn there, they're an idiot and they deserve to be blown up.
Has anybody got Igla? Godfrey's got a fucking star streak.
Let's go.
See,
If you backblast from there, I'm gonna fucking shoot you.
Blind.
Should I go grab an
really
Igla?
bad on the course, so let's see.
It
Ones is
doesn't
it
give
used?
me
Coming
phase
from the
one,
north.
Godfrey.
He's flying over us now.
Jesus.
God.
Oh,
Fucking hell.
Couldn't reach out.
Was he low enough to the tent?
He was at the height of the fucking hangars. I saw the underside of the aircraft as he went over.
Can't wait to get back. See if I got through.
I actually ducked in
Go
my
for it, go
chair.
further, you're too close.
I didn't hear him coming at all.
God!
He was good
Stands
at
behind
past
him.
the sound barrier.
I turned
He's
to
dipping
turn
his
to
nose.
go out because he's too close. He turns around with a loaded fucking Starstreak.
I mean, we're 10 meters
There he
away.
comes.
Also,
Oh
Mark.
no.
Oh, okay, okay. Uh-oh,
You did, you.
Friday rankles.
Oh, we're saving that clip.
Tell you what, I need my own pilot helmet, don't I? Angus.
Oh.
Oh, I'm not using woods. It's probably sticky.
Godfrey, you've got a Starstreak. I hit him with a fucking 40mm, man. Fuck up.
Angus, you didn't do any damage to him.
I still hit
Yeah,
him.
but he still hit him though.
Oh,
Still feel
hello.
that counts.
What's a hello?
That's a crate that's just appeared.
Oh dear.
I don't like where this is going.
Oh, he's having fun.
Let's go with it never again.
Come on, Godfrey, we believe in you.
Come on, Godfrey, you can do it.
Come on.
No pro shot.
Come on.
He backed off himself though.
Come on.
Come on, son.
I've run out of HDV.
Show of force is going to get very fucking close. Woohoo!
What's it, the building?
Godfrey, do you vote here?
my god.
I'm just going to stay here and keep recording it. Oh, hey, Mark! Mark, you hurt me.
Oh, sorry.
Medic! Medic!
You're a medic, deal with it. Everybody's got a fucking ignite.
You fucking hurt me.
How do you use these bloody things?
Not close to another person.
I don't even know how to hold the bloody thing, let alone fire it.
They got no fucking ammo.
I'm
Press 3.
£100. This is crazy.
Yes.
There you go.
Wow.
I'm alright.
Now point it at the
Wait,
jet.
wait.
Where is he?
Hang on, I'm getting out of the way.
See, whenever I try and do AA, it just highlights how.
I am
belly
recording it.
is. There he is.
He's behind the hangar. Don't waste it.
I think he was, you know.
He was.
He was.
Everything's orange.
He is orange as
What
orange.
net's he on?
Fucking reload.
25.
2-1.
Let's let him land.
Hudson, you gotta try and shoot him down and go guns on him, mate.
That's much.
This is like a fucking firing line of ignorance.
Jen, dress left, dress left.
Right, he's on the fucking
He's gonna start shooting back.
What was that?
Fuck it, let him.
I don't even know how to use these things. Coming from the direct east.
He might shoot those, so watch out.
Classic line of fucking igloos.
Oh, I've got nails behind me.
Start might be in on server 1 with Tip. Here he is.
Oh, he's off. Oh. Oh, oh, oh.
I mean, at least we know he can successfully evade 8 igloos.
Oh. 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 Oh, hang on. Oh, oh.
What are you trying to do? Lock? Press R or T and it just takes a really long ass charge.
Oh yeah, T for target.
Oh, and then what do I press once it's targeted?
Left mouse button. I mean, meh?
Oh.
I don't think it is T
Finally
because
went
I'm not
down.
hearing it.
Yeah, Locks, and I'll give you something to sit in.
That doesn't sound inappropriate at all.
Can't use that.
Just see like 8 fucking rockets just yeet out at once.
There you go, Locks, and have that, mate.
Oh!
Just giving it. Oh my god.
I want to play.
Can't believe how many.
Why is Moses giggling like a maniac?
Have you had Larkinson inside that fucking AA piece?
I genuinely needed a little bit of chaff then. I was really rather defenceless. I know, but I used all my flares on the very first missile and managed to dodge that.
So echoey.
Hey?
You're so echoey.
Who was that?
Oh, holy shit.
Who's up in the jet?
It was Vils.
Yeah, I had fixed myself.
He got me.
What the fuck? You like your
me. Yeah. Oh, I heal myself.
How are you flying without a G-suit?
Me? I was just being careful with fucking my turns, wasn't I?
I thought you flagging everyone with his ink.
I tell you what, I got behind Smudge quite a few times, and realised that my fire bottom wasn't bound. I was going for guns as well. Let me put actual fucking G suit on. Right, I'll go again.
I just kind of like fix myself up. We're out of the way. Should we go do your stuff? Oh, that's what he's in.
Yeah.
Fuck, get out of your way. Oh my god, what are you doing?
Having on block at channel 1, you can stick around or you Did everyone hear that, yeah?
Yeah, I did. What was it?
Training. Oh, there's no more training time, mate, so feel free to stick on or
Lost a bit then, didn't he? just waiting to die.
There's a tank there for some reason.
Look behind you. There's quite a few tanks.
No, like proper
Oh.
tank. Tank.
Oh, look, I'm groaning in pain. All of the ammo cases come out of the top of them like it's like some sort of gay chap. Oh, there's another one up. How am I not T1 yet? Hi. Yes, I am particularly hurt. No, it's fine. Just leave me to die. It's okay. Oh, thank you. Everything's back in colour now. Oh. Well, this isn't how we thought the evening was going to go. Having fun in there?
Yes, I am. Couldn't do much in the way of G's, I didn't have G suit.
Oh, are you cleaning up now? This'll do.